This is guaranteed to be one of the biggest blockbusters of 2027, the Zelda movie. The legendary series has been around for 40 years and has shaped generations of gamers, so the pressure on the filmmakers is immense. The Legend of Zelda simply has to deliver. The hope for a worthy adaptation is just as great as the fear of a terrible flop. But what does the movie actually need to do to be a success? We'll tell you everything about the current status of production. What's the plan? How's filming going? Who's in the cast? And will Link finally open his mouth? For many fans, the fact that we're getting a live-action Zelda movie at all borders on a minor miracle. For decades, Nintendo has been extremely cautious when it comes to adaptations featuring real actors. But this time, the Japanese company is leaving nothing to chance. Zelda creator Shigeru Miyamoto is serving as a producer himself, side by side with Hollywood veteran Avi Arad. While Sony Pictures is primarily responsible for the production, Nintendo says it is financing more than half of the film's budget. That's a clear signal. The game developer is retaining maximum creative control to ensure the series' legacy isn't diluted in any way. Of course, the success of a Zelda film hinges on the right casting. And judging by the reactions online, Sony seems to have made a good choice here. Link is played by 17-year-old Brit Benjamin Evan Ainsworth, while 22-year-old Brit Bo Bragason takes on the role of Princess Zelda. This cast is noteworthy for several reasons. For one thing, in both cases, the studio opted for actors who are still relatively unknown. This makes it easier to accept them in these iconic roles. Imagine if they had cast Link with someone like Tom Holland. While his name kept popping up among movie fans as a top choice, his fame as Spider-Man would likely have distracted from the new role. Another thing that stands out, the age difference between the two actors. Like many fans, we wonder if this will play a role in how the two characters are portrayed in the film. It's quite conceivable, for example, that Link will be deliberately portrayed as a young, still inexperienced hero, while Zelda, as a princess, will bring a bit more experience to the table. Zelda creator Shigeru Miyamoto has already praised the cast and emphasized that the two young actors will breathe new life into the characters and authentically embody the iconic heroes. The first images of the two actors in costume were largely well received by fans. The look also reveals a lot about the film's approach. It appears they're going for a more realistic design. The Zelda games have featured many different styles over the years, so it would have been entirely conceivable that we might also be in for a brightly colored visual style like in the Netflix adaptation of One Piece. Moreover, the success of the Mario movie had paved the way for Nintendo to allow Hollywood to adapt its Zelda franchise in the first place. It would have been easy to attempt a childishly fun adaptation here as well. It gives us hope that they're trying a unique approach instead. Together with the cast of relatively unknown actors, the artistic vision seems to be the priority here. However, the Zelda movie will likely deviate from the game in one key aspect. In almost all the games, the hero remains silent, a decision intended to make it easier for players to identify with Link. It has been emphasized several times, however, that Link is indeed capable of speaking, even if this is never shown. Director Wes Ball has already joked that they could simply display text panels in the film. While there is no official statement regarding this decision, we strongly assume that the hero will communicate normally in the film. Nothing official is known about the rest of the cast yet, even though filming has been underway since November 2025 and wrapped up in April 2026. In the meantime, there have been occasional leaks from the set, including some from chief cinematographer Giulia Patos. One thing in particular was evident from the now-deleted photos. The creators appear to have drawn inspiration from various Zelda games when designing the outfits and sets. So we don't expect a direct adaptation of a specific game, but fans of the games are used to each new adventure standing on its own, with familiar elements presented in new variations time and again. The movie seems to be taking this approach as well. Based on the set leaks, fans are also speculating that actress Deacon Lockman could play the role of Impa. In the games, Impa is usually Zelda's maid, and sometimes also her bodyguard. Director Wes Ball brings a wealth of experience to the table. He became known for the Maze Runner films. Most recently, he directed Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, so he's already got a knack for modern CGI, epic action, and emotional characters. Ideal prerequisites for a film adaptation of The Legend of Zelda. Things get more interesting when it comes to the screenwriter. Derek Connolly is known for the first two Jurassic World films, the fantastic Detective Pikachu, but also the mega flop Monster Trucks. When we think of Zelda, one thing comes to mind above all else: Koji Kondo's fantastic soundtrack. While there are no official details yet, the latest report suggests that composer John Paisano will be handling the music for the film adaptation, naturally with Kondo's guidance. Paisano also composed the music for director Wes Ball's previous films. We're already looking forward to the new renditions of the series' most legendary musical themes. If it was good enough for The Lord of the Rings, it can't be wrong for Zelda. The film was shot in New Zealand. In addition to the inevitable CGI effects, the filmmakers are relying on massive sets and practical effects, just as they did back then. From the idyllic Kokiri Forest to the majestic Hyrule Castle and the gloomy depths of a Shadow Temple, the film aims to depict the world of Hyrule with such attention to detail that fans will immediately feel at home. But what would a true Zelda adventure be without proper adversaries? So far, the leaks and discussions have focused heavily on Link and Zelda, yet we're already wondering what the legendary monsters will look like on the big screen. From everyday pests like the Bokblins to fearsome behemoths like the Lunin, the game's bestiary has plenty to offer. Since the filmmakers are heavily relying on real-life sets, we hope that many of the creatures won't be just created on a computer, but will be brought to life through elaborate masks and animatronics. That would make the threat of Hyrule feel much more tangible. A standout feature of the Zelda franchise, it shows us the same characters, locations, and artifacts time and again, but each time in a different way. Link, Zelda, and the villain Ganondorf appear in nearly every installment, yet they always differ from one another in subtle details. Familiar locations also change. Sometimes Hyrule Castle stands in the middle of the landscape, other times it is surrounded by water. The same patterns, at different times, perhaps even in other dimensions. This multifaceted nature is what makes Zelda unique, and is perfect for the film. The goal isn't to perfectly replicate a story, rather, it's to tell a new legend that feels like Zelda. What defines the Zelda universe are the emotions, the feeling of an honest, classic adventure, with good heroes and sinister villains, with humorous moments, but without making a mockery of the epic story. We want magical places, fascinating temples, and perhaps even a puzzle or two. If the team can convey the feeling of the games, it has fulfilled its mission. We'll see next year whether the magic of the games has been successfully conjured up on the big screen. The theatrical release of The Legend of Zelda is set for May 7th, 2027.